Hi, I'm Amy Romeo of Amy Romeo Crafts, and in this video I'll be showing you how to make these really cute hair bows for the holidays using faux leather, heat transfer vinyl, and a Cricut. I can't wait to show you how to make these. Let's go ahead and dive right in. The SVG file for this project is available in my shop. It's part of my holiday faux leather crafting event where I'm sharing a brand new holiday SVG and video tutorial every day for 20 days. I'll leave a link on the screen for you so you can get the SVG, or you can visit amyromeo.com/holiday to see all of the event's designs. Let's go over the tools and materials we'll be using to make this Christmas candy hair bow. I'll be using the Cricut Maker today, but you could use any of the current Cricut machines because we're cutting the faux leather for this project using the standard 5-point blade that comes with both the Maker machines, both the Explore machines, the Cricut Joy, and the Cricut Joy Extra. So this project has two components, faux leather and then heat transfer vinyl. The faux leather I'll be using is a solid color. You can buy faux leather in rolls or in sheets, and I'll leave links to all of these materials for you. You can use any color you'd like for the base, and then we'll be applying heat transfer vinyl to the top. I have some solid white, and then I have some glitter heat transfer vinyl. You can choose the colors and the types that you like. I'll be cutting the faux leather using the purple strong grip cutting mat and the heat transfer vinyl using the green standard grip cutting mat. To apply the heat transfer vinyl to the faux leather, I'll be using my Easy Press Mini set to the low setting. You could also use a regular Easy Press set to about 265 degrees. I'll be using a cover sheet. This is a Teflon sheet that I've trimmed down to size. You could also use butcher paper or parchment paper. I have a heat pressing pad to protect my surface. Then some other tools we'll be using, some blue painter's tape to help us tape down the faux leather and get a better cut. Some craft scissors. I like regular craft scissors, and then also some small detailed scissors like these curved scissors. You could also use embroidery scissors. And then you'll need a weeding tool of some kind. You can use a hook or a pin pen style. Finally, to put the bow together, I'll be using a glue gun and some mini glue sticks. I really like the Gorilla Glue kind. And then we'll need an alligator clip to turn our faux leather shapes into a bow. Okay, so let's hop over into Design Space and I'll show you all about the pattern, and we'll get it cut out and I'll show you how to put the bow together. So starting with a blank canvas in Cricut Design Space, you'll click on Upload and then Upload Image, and you'll browse to where the unzipped SVG file is on your device for this project. Click on it to select it and then click Open. And we can see a preview of our bow shapes here. Click Upload and then select it from your recent uploads row. Click Add to Canvas, and then all of your shapes will appear on your canvas. So let me tell you a little bit about what's happening here. We have 3 different layers, 3 different colors. So all of the pink layers are going to cut from the faux leather of your choice. All of the red and the white will cut from the heat transfer vinyl of your choice. So these candy cane shapes, these 2 large circles, they're connected. All of the stripes are connected for you. So when you cut and weed those vinyl layers, they'll be very easy to apply onto these bow shapes. These large shapes of heat transfer vinyl, these we're going to cut and apply to the back of our faux leather pieces to make the back look more finished. So if you did not want to cut the stripes and the candy cane, you could use this bow template just as a basic bow. And the way you can do that is in the layers panel here, you can just click off that little eye icon, and that will turn off the stripes and the candies in this design. And then you can use this as just a regular bow template. But I'm going to cut the candies. So let me bring all those back. There we go. We'll go ahead and click the Make It button. We're cutting our materials on a mat. And we'll see our 3 shapes load here in Design Space. The first thing we want to do is click on Mirror, because faux leather and heat transfer vinyl cut in reverse. So we want to mirror each of our mats. And then here we will just arrange our shapes on our mat so that we can cut our shapes efficiently from the material. So see how these 2 pinwheel shapes are connected? Those are going to cut together so they're easy to place onto your bow. Let's see, I'm just dragging these apart from the edge a little and from each other. It helps when you're weeding to have a little bit of extra room around the edges. So that one looks good. Here's our pink one. I think I'll drag those like that. Again, I like to drag the shapes a little bit apart from the edges and from each other. And same thing here. Okay, great. So I like to cut the faux leather mat first, so I'll click back on the pink layer. And I'm just making a mental note, to cut these bow shapes, I need a piece of faux leather about 6 inches wide and 9 inches tall. So click continue. And the material setting I'll be using is called Faux Leather Paper Thin. If you don't have this setting bookmarked as a favorite like I do, you can click on Browse All Materials and search for it. If you're using the Explorer Air 2, you'll need to turn your dial to custom before you can find this setting. So Faux Leather Paper Thin, regardless of the Cricut machine you're using. If you are using the Cricut Joy Extra, at the time of this recording, there is not a Faux Leather Paper Thin setting yet, but I have a video about how to create this custom setting for yourself to use that machine to cut faux leather, and I'll leave a link to that for you. So Faux Leather Paper Thin is our setting, and we're going to use more pressure. And here's that reminder that we're just using that regular fine point blade that comes with your Cricut. For the vinyl layers, you'll want to cut those using the material setting that the manufacturer recommends for the brand and type of vinyl you're using. I'm using some Caesar glitter heat transfer vinyl for this red layer, so I'll cut that from the glitter vinyl setting with default pressure, and I will repeat the cut one time. Whatever glitter vinyl you're using may not need a repeat cut, so you'll want to experiment with that. And then for the regular white vinyl layer, I will just use the vinyl setting with default pressure and cut once. So let's hop back over to my overhead camera. Let's get all of our shapes cut out and our bow assembled. So I've trimmed my faux leather down to that size I noted in the mat preview screen so that all of my shapes will cut out. And I'm going to flip it over pretty side down, put it on my purple strong grip cutting mat, and then I'm going to use blue painter's tape and tape around on all sides. These two steps, trimming the faux leather to a smaller size and then taping with blue painter's tape, really makes a big difference in helping us get great cuts with our faux leather. So my material setting of Faux Leather Paper Thin is all set to go. With more pressure, I'm going to load the mat into the machine and begin the cut. So the cut has run one time. The Faux Leather Paper Thin setting is actually an automatic double cut, so really it's cut twice, but sometimes the material doesn't cut all the way through, and that's okay. What we're going to do is check the cut with our sharp weeding tool to see if it went all the way through. If it did, which this one looks good, we can unload the mat, but if you need to rerun the cut, you can. You can repeat the cut as many times as necessary, as long as you don't unload your mat. So to rerun the cut, you would just press the cut button again, or if you're using the Cricut Joy, the option to rerun will be on your screen in Design Space. But this one looks good, so I'll unload it, and I'll just remove those shapes. Now I'll go ahead and cut out those two vinyl mats and weed away the excess vinyl, and then we'll start assembling our bow. So I've weeded out both of the vinyl layers, and before I cut them apart, I just wanted to show you these two peppermint swirls, as I mentioned, and the stripes are already connected, but these two peppermint swirls and these circles on this sheet, you want to cut them apart so the two circles are together and the two stripes are together, but that's all the cuts you want to make. So you don't want to cut here, because these are perfectly placed to help you press them and place them both at the same time. So I've organized all of my layers, and then I have my two bow shapes that are going to get that glitter heat transfer vinyl backing. I also have my Easy Press Mini on and set to that low setting. Again, if you're using a regular Easy Press, I would set it to 265 degrees. Now all we're going to do is line up our faux leather shape and our vinyl layer. These are going to be back to back, and we'll put this here on our heat pressing pad. Make sure those are lined up neatly. and then we'll cover and press. We need to press for about 10 seconds all over to get this vinyl well adhered to the back. So I'll remove the cover sheet, and trying to keep the faux leather nice and flat, I'm going to very carefully and slowly peel back the clear cover sheet. And that's because if necessary, I can always place it right back down and press again if the vinyl lifts up. But this looks pretty good. So there's the back or the inside, and there's the front. And I always like to press just one more time once that thick clear carrier sheet is removed. And this is warm and I want it to cool flat, so I'll just pop it here underneath my heat pressing pad for a moment. Then we'll do the other one. So you might be wondering why I didn't press this heat transfer vinyl onto the back of the faux leather first, which is what I do when I make earrings and keychains and things like that. And that's because I wanted to use glitter heat transfer vinyl, which is thicker than regular heat transfer vinyl or foil iron-on, which I like to put on the back of faux leather a lot. So I find that if you try to put glitter on the back of faux leather and then cut with your Cricut, cut both layers at once, it's too thick. So we're doing it this way. So now that I've pressed all over, again, we're going to keep that faux leather flat and just peel back the clear carrier sheet. This is warm, so be careful. Whoops, see how that edge is lifting up a little bit? So I'm just going to place it right back down and press again. There we go. And if you're wondering what this is going to look like, this bow shape will be folded inward like this. So when someone sees the top of the bow, you'll get that pop of glitter as opposed to seeing the back of the faux leather. So it's optional, but it is a nice touch. Okay. So we're going to let these cool flat for just a moment. Now we're going to press our top layers of vinyl. So we've got our little bow tail here, and these two layers are going to go on top. So it doesn't matter which one you do first. Just take a moment and make sure that it's lined up correctly. And again, we'll cover and press. So the little stripes are on the front, and we've got our glitter on the back, and there may be just little spots where the heat transfer vinyl is sort of sticking out over the edge, and that just has to do with the heat transfer vinyl shrinking and the faux leather not shrinking, things like that. So that's a great time to use the little curved scissors just to go around and trim up any little tiny areas like that. So you'll want to do that on all sides. Just kind of take a look. Again, we'll let it dry flat. And now we're going to press the peppermint layer. Remember, these two are connected. So what I want to do is sort of give myself a guideline. So if I fold these two circles over, the sticky side is on the back. So I'm just folding them over, on the not sticky side. Sort of line up those circles and then just pinch the vinyl cover sheet with my fingers. That's going to give me a little guideline to know where to place these peppermints. Then I'll sort of line up that guideline with, you can see it here, see that bright shiny spot? I'm just lining that up with the center of the little bridge between the two bows. And then making sure that my peppermints are even and have a nice border all around them that looks symmetrical, which looks good. And then we'll just cover and press again. And we'll peel back slowly. That looks good. Now we'll just line up the little swirl layer of the peppermint. So now that layer is ready to press as well. I'm going to place it under my mat. let it cool flat, and then I'll get everything together so we can glue our hair bow together. Okay, so I have my bow shapes all pressed. Everything's ready to go. So I am going to warm up this section just before we press because we need to fold this, and the decoration of the peppermint has made this a little stiff. So I'm just going to place this here, cover and press for probably 5 seconds on each side. Okay, and then I have my little cordless glue gun here. You don't have to use a cordless one, but I love this thing, and it's got a really small little tip, which is great for small areas. So we're going to just flip this over, and I'm going to apply glue here in the center and then fold these two parts over and hold. So this is what it'll look like glued, and now we're just going to glue this part on the back as well. Then the last step is to glue on the hair clip. So take a look and see where it's going to go. Apply your glue. And then we'll just glue and wrap this last part around, tucking it underneath the hair clip. I'm just getting glue on these little sides. I like to let each step dry. I'm just using this glue stick to kind of prop open the clip so I can glue each of the sides down. And that's it. And that's how all 3 of the different colors look together. I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you want to see all of the fun and festive faux leather crafts I created for my holiday crafting event, I'll leave a link to a playlist for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.